So let's see the history of the census. So student, the first thing that you should know is the information about census. Okay, in India, the information about census was found during the Mughal period, and the information about the census is given in the book Ain-e-Akbari. Okay, and you should know that this book is written by Abul Fazl, and in this particular book, information about the census was given. Okay, the next thing that you should know is the first census in the world. Okay, so first census in the world was conducted by the country Sweden, that is in year 1749 AD. Okay, and the next question they can ask you, the first decennial census. Decennial census means which is conducted at every 10 years, and for doing that America was the first country, and it happened in year 1790. Okay, so the first census in world was conducted by Sweden, whereas the first decennial census was conducted by America. The next question they can ask you, the first census in England in which year? That is very important. It is 1800. During 1800, the first census in the England was conducted. Since during that period our country India was under England, so they also conducted census of a city in India. What are those two cities? The first one is the Allahabad and the second one is the Banaras. Allahabad census was carried out in 1824 and Banaras was conducted in 1827. Okay, why this census was conducted? Because this is under the England region. Okay, and this census was conducted by Prince James. Okay, James Princip in 1827. Okay, so the credit goes to James Princip, who belongs to England. Okay, so he wants to do the census as it was done in England. Okay, so from exam point of view, you should know the first city where census was conducted pre-independence is Allahabad and Banaras. Okay, and who has conducted? It is James Princip. Okay, coming to the next question that can come in your exam is the first complete census of Indian city. Okay, it is Dhaka, and now it is in Bangladesh. In 1830 it is under India. Okay, so the first complete census of an Indian city was conducted. The name is Dhaka, which is then in India, now in Bangladesh. Okay, and the very important that this census was conducted by a person called Henry Walter, and he is also known as father of Indian census. Okay, got it? This is very important. Okay, so father of Indian census is Henry Walter. Okay, and the first complete census of any Indian city was conducted in Dhaka. Okay, coming to the non-synchronous census in India. What do you mean by non-synchronous? Which is just an irregular census, which is not conducted at regular interval of time. Okay, and the credit goes to Lord Mayo. This is very important. Okay, 1872. If the question says the first census in India, it should be your answer Lord Mayo, whether it is given non-synchronous or synchronous. Okay, so if it is not mentioned anything, you go with the Lord Mayo. But if they are specifying like first non-synchronous census, the answer should be Lord Mayo. But in case if they ask first synchronous census, okay, then your answer should be under the Viceroy Lord Ripon. Okay, so the first synchronous census was conducted on this particular date, more specifically 1881, and the first non-synchronous census was conducted in 1872. These are the two important periods for the census as far as India is concerned, and the first synchronous census in India was carried under the Viceroy Lord Ripon. Okay, and one more question they can ask you is the census commissioner. Okay, so who was the census commissioner when first synchronous census was carried out? It is W.C. Plowden. Okay, W.C. Plowden, just remember this name. Okay, so I will repeat once again which are the important one. First non-synchronous census in India was conducted during the period of Lord Mayo, that is in 1872, whereas first synchronous census was conducted in 1881 under the Viceroy Lord Ripon, and the census commissioner was W.C. Plowden. Okay. The next very important topic is decadal growth rate. Okay, so as you can see, the growth rate in the chart, this is the population, whereas the red one is the growth rate. Okay, one important thing if you see is the year 1921. Where is this year? 1920. Okay, here you see growth rate is minus 0.31. Why suddenly the growth rate got reduced? It is due to famine and epidemic at that time. Okay, why this is called great dividing year? Because after this point the population is continuously increasing, so it is dividing two portion where the growth rate was negative, afterward it was always positive. Okay, so it is dividing the year basically, and that year is 1921. Okay, and the growth rate at that time was minus 0.31, means people are not born at that time. In fact, mortality rate is more than the balanced one. Okay, and afterward it is always positive. I already told you. Sorry. One more thing, because of this population explosion, okay, so India became the first country to adopt family planning in the world. Coming to the census post-independence, let's see the few previous year question pointers that can come in your exam. The first one is the first census which was conducted after independence. Okay, so we got independent in 1947, and if you see the decennial census which is conducted at every 10 years, which started with 1881, so in year 1951, okay, the first census after independence was conducted. Okay, the next one is the last census. Okay, so the last census which was conducted by India is year 2011. Okay, and the 2011 census was the 15th decennial census. Okay, 15th decennial census, and which is 7th after the independence. Okay, so 2011 census was the 7th census after independence, and overall 15th decennial census since from the beginning. Okay, and coming to the 21st century, it is the second census which was conducted in 21st century. Okay, and remember 2021 was supposed to have one census, but because of this COVID and other political reason, it was not carried out. Okay, the other point, like the first act after independence which was related to census was 1948 Census Act, and the article in the Constitution of India which state that it is a union subject, and the article is 246. Okay, and remember student, this census survey is conducted by Ministry of the Home Affairs. Okay, Ministry of Home Affairs. And who is the nodal authority of conducting census? It is the Office of Registrar General and Census Commissioner. Okay, which is basically works under the Union Ministry of the Home Affairs. Okay, and in 1951, that is the first census which was carried after the independence. At that time, census commissioner was R.A. Gopalaswamy. Just remember this name, R.A. Gopalaswamy. Okay, and the next you should know is the current census commissioner. Okay, this basically belong to the current affairs, so that's why we are not putting it here. Okay, let's see few of the important pointers related to census 2011. Student, just remember, this census 2011 is the 15th decennial census, 7th census after the independence, and 2nd census of the 21st century. Okay, 15th decennial census means, okay, 15th means from the starting point that we have seen 1881. Okay, and 7th after the independence. So the first census, that is 1951 census, was conducted after independence. So afterwards it is the 7th census. Okay, and in the 21st century it is the second one. Okay, so 2001, then 2011. Okay, the other question that they can ask is the motto. Okay, what was the motto of census 2011? The motto was very simple: our census, our future. Okay, just it is a static pointer, and the mascot at that point is the woman enumerators. Okay, woman enumerator. Enumerator means who do the calculations. Okay, and a very important one, okay, General Registrar and the Census Commissioner who had conducted this census 2011. The name is Dr. C. Chandramouli. Okay, so who had conducted census 2011? At that time, who was the census commissioner? It is Dr. C. Chandramouli. Okay. The next one is the very important for exam point of view, is the decadal growth rate. Okay, so in this particular decadal, you have a growth rate of almost 17.64%. Okay, and it is decline of the 4% from 2011. Okay, this is very important. Decadal growth rate is 17.64%. Means during that 10 year our population was increased by 17.64%, but if we compare with year 2001, it is 4% decreased. Okay, the next very important fact about census 2011 is the population. Okay, so the Indian population is 121.08 crore. Okay, out of which 51% approximately are male and 48% are female. Okay, just remember the big number only. Okay, don't go with the decimal. Okay, so 121 crore, 51% male, 49% is a female. Okay, next one is the population density. Again, it is a very important pointer. It is 382 person per square meter. Okay, population density is 382 person per square meter for overall India. Okay, next is the sex ratio. Okay, and the sex ratio was found to be 943. Okay, 943 on 1000. Okay, as definition says. So 943 is the sex ratio, 382 is the population density. decadal growth is 17.64. Okay, and this is again a very important point, that is literacy rate. It is approximately 74%, and approximately out of this 82% are male and 65% are female, and overall literacy is 74.4%. Okay, and if we compare the census of 1951 with the 2011, okay, so if you see, the population is increased by 3.5 times. Sometime he may ask, okay, as compared to 1951, how much population is increased, how much time it has increased? It is 3.5%. and if we see the density, it is almost 3 times, and the literacy rate is increased 4 times. Okay, so these are the very high level question. Okay, so in 1951 we have literacy rate of 18%, but in year 2001 it increased 4 times force, that is 74.04%. Okay, student, this is the very important slide for the census 2011. Okay, I am not going into making you to learn everything. Okay, just take a screenshot. We have included the state and the union territory, which is the highest and lowest one. Okay, highest in the union territory and the lowest in union territory. The important one is the population. So you should know the highest population for the census 2011, it is Uttar Pradesh, and the lowest one is Sikkim. Similarly, for the union territory, it is Delhi, and the lowest is Lakshadweep. Okay, so there are other factors that I am not going to discuss because you need to cram it. There is no other way. Okay, so density, sex ratio, literacy rate, decadal growth rates, SC, ST, these are very important parameters that can come into your exam. Okay, and nowadays we are only seeing the questions from the union territories. Okay, so union territory you should be thorough, mostly with specific to the highest and lowest. Okay, so you can take a screenshot of it, learn by heart. Okay, you will get to have one question from this particular slide.